Good evening. Welcome to Emo Nightly News, every moment online. In tonight's headlines, Dominica 4-H Club concludes successful Easter trip to St. Lucia. St. Lucia PM to present record 2.18 billion budget. Dominic advises customers of increased fuel surcharge for April 2026. Rotary Club of Dominica hands over rehabilitated facility in Silver Lake. Dominica strengthens tourism workforce with new training program. St. Lucia to host CTO Latin American Market Summit. 10-day ceasefire begins in Lebanon amid ongoing tensions. And DSC dominates PSS in secondary schools basketball. Details of these stories and more coming up next. Stay with us.
Across our Caribbean, we're going digital, working smarter and living safer online.
In Dominica, we don't fall for fake prizes. We check before we click.
In Grenada, we verify before we share, keeping our hard-earned money safe from hackers.
In St. Lucia, we report cyberbullying, protecting our children and each other.
In St. Vincent and the Grenadines, we report scams fast, protecting our neighbors and our communities.
Together, we're building a cyber-smart Caribbean, keeping our people and our data safe, standing up to scams and cybercrime. We stay connected, but always alert. This message is brought to you by the Caribbean Digital Transformation Project. Stay smart, stay safe. Think Card TP. Visit cardtpconnect.org.
Hello everyone, welcome back. I'm your presenter, Rick Francis, and this is the news broadcast for the 17th of April, 2026. Let's take a look at local news. The Rotary Club of Dominica has completed a project aimed at fulfilling multiple club goals. On Thursday, the club officially handed over a newly rehabilitated public convenience facility to the Silver Lake community. More than just a physical structure, the project created an opportunity for collaboration among several stakeholders, allowing the club to achieve a range of social and community-focused objectives. Operating under this year's theme, Unite for Good, the Rotary Club continues to prioritize initiatives that promote partnership and positive change within communities. Now, let's hear from a representative who explains the significance of the project.
The Rotary Club of Dominica and Rotary International has 7 areas of focus. And throughout our year, we try to undertake projects in all of these areas. The 7 areas of focus are peace and conflict prevention and resolution, water and sanitation, economic community development, basic education and literacy, disease prevention and treatment, maternal and child health care, and the environment. This project spans 3 of these areas, and it has been done in collaboration with the Commonwealth of Dominica Police Force. But I just need to say that the 3 areas are water and sanitation, community development, and peace and conflict prevention and resolution.
The initiative, carried out in collaboration with the Dominica Police Force, also allowed the club to accomplish a long-standing goal, executing a project centered on peace, conflict prevention, and resolution.
So when the Dominica Police Force community program for Silver Lake asked us to be part of it, we really welcomed them because it was a good addition in terms of telling people what kind of projects that we are doing. So we thank that collaboration, and we are happy to be working together with them.
President of the Rotary Club, Jomaine Japierre, highlighted the history of the facility.
This facility, originally constructed by the Rotary Club of Dominica post-Hurricane David, served this community faithfully for decades. Recognizing its continued importance, we saw it not just as a structure in need of repair, but as a vital community asset deserving of renewal and care. This rehabilitation project, valued at $33,735.78, was made possible through funds raised from our annual Carnival Sunday Sauce and Punch fundraiser, an initiative that reflects the generosity, spirit, and commitment of our supporters and the wider public.
She expressed gratitude to all who supported the club's Sauce and Punch event, as well as to the stakeholders and partners whose collaboration ensured the project's success. She further emphasized the importance of the initiative and its impact on the community.
It is our hope that it will be well maintained, respected, and used responsibly by all who benefit from it. To the residents of Silver Lake, this facility is yours once again. We entrust it to your care and stewardship, confident that it will continue to serve generations to come. The Rotary Club of Dominica remains committed to service above self, and we will continue to seek opportunities to uplift and strengthen our communities across the island. Thank you, and may this renewed space be a source of pride and benefit to all.
The Dominica National 4-H Club officially wrapped up its 2026 Easter educational trip to St. Lucia with a closing ceremony on Sunday, April 12, marking the end of a week of learning, cultural exchange, and youth development. Delivering the feature address was Philip J. Pierre, who praised the Dominican participants for the discipline and enthusiasm. He also expressed interest in establishing a 4-H program in St. Lucia to strengthen youth engagement and regional collaboration. A highlight of the ceremony was the presentation of awards to outstanding campers. Top honorees are as follows. For Camp King, Jalen Lloyd. Camp Queen, Jael Lloyd. Camp Prince, Malik Etienne. And Camp Princess, Asia Marshall. Most helpful students were also recognized across several schools, including Ace Jean-Marie, Jalen Bethel, Therese Greenaway, Dylan Barron, Giovanni Loda de Rival, Denisha Senhouse, Kelly Leblanc, Emilia Thomas, Linnell Rudette, Zela Marie, and Amira Jarvis. The 4-H Club expressed gratitude to the government and people of St. Lucia for their warm hospitality, noting that the trip continues to advance its mission to youth empowerment through education, agriculture, and regional partnership. Also happening in local news, Discover Dominica Authority, in partnership with the Ministry of Tourism, Organization of Eastern Caribbean States OECS, and Dominica State College, has launched a fully funded tour guide training program aimed at improving service standards across the island. CEO and Director of Tourism, Marva Williams, says the program is vital as Dominica continues to position itself in a competitive tourism market, ensuring service providers are well-trained and aligned with national standards.
30 individuals are now taking the step towards becoming certified tour guides in Dominica as we roll out our fully funded tour guide training program. Delivered in partnership with the Ministry of Tourism, the OECS, and Dominica State College, and funded by the Caribbean Development Bank through the eSystems project, this initiative is strengthening the quality of experiences across the island. Participants are building real, practical skills in customer service, safety, environmental awareness, and cultural interpretation, all critical to delivering experiences that meet the expectations of today's visitor. We acknowledge the OECS and all partners for their role in making this program possible and in supporting the continued development of Dominica's tourism workforce. To those in the program, please take full advantage of this opportunity. What you gain here directly shapes the experience visitors will carry with them long after they leave Dominica. Successful participants will move on to pursue a NICE certification, supporting a higher and more consistent standard of service across the island.
Participants will engage in both classroom and field-based learning, preparing them for real-world tourism experiences. Upon completion, they will be eligible for certification, helping to strengthen professionalism and consistency across Dominica's tourism sector. Dominica has welcomed a new centenarian as Mr. Auguste Hayden George of Grand Bay celebrates the remarkable milestone of 100 years of age today. The Dominica Council of Aging Inc. proudly recognized Mr. George for his longevity, wisdom, and the legacy he represents. Reaching a century of life is a truly extraordinary achievement, and this milestone stands as a testament to a life well lived. EmoNews extends warm congratulations and wishes Mr. George continued health, happiness, and blessings on this special occasion. Dominica Electricity Services Limited, DOMLEC, is advising customers of an increase in the fuel surcharge applicable to electricity bills for April 2026 consumption, which will be reflected on bills issued in May 2026. The fuel surcharge, which is published monthly, is calculated using the previous month's energy consumption along with the cost of fuel. For the first time, the company is introducing the addition of a geothermal energy cost. As such, the April surcharge is based on March 2026 energy sales, fuel costs, as well as limited geothermal generation. DOMLEC's General Manager, Dwayne Sinak, explained that several factors have contributed to the increase. The fuel surcharge for April 2026 has increased to 50 cents per kilowatt per hour, primarily driven by a sharp rise in global fuel prices. Our average fuel cost has increased by approximately 33% since January, largely due to ongoing geopolitical tensions in the Middle East, he stated. This increase in surcharge costs can be seen from February 2026. In December 2025, hydro generation accounted for approximately 35% of total energy production, contributing to a surcharge of 32 cents in January 2026. However, seasonal variability resulted in hydro production returning to its more typical levels of approximately 25.5% in March, resulting in charges of 36 cents in February and 37 cents in March, respectively. Although geothermal energy has now been introduced into the system, its contribution remains limited at this stage. While we have begun receiving geothermal energy, the plant is still in its commissioning phase and currently contributes a small portion of our overall energy mix. In March, geothermal accounted for approximately 6.1% of total energy production. As production increases over time, we expect this to play a greater role in stabilizing electricity costs, the general manager added. DOMLEC emphasizes that the primary driver of the April increase remains the significant rise in fuel prices. Customers are encouraged to actively manage their electricity usage during this period. The company expects that they will soon be able to take advantage of time of use billing, where rates will be reduced during off-peak periods, late evenings to early morning. We urge all customers to conserve energy where possible as we continue our transition from a diesel-dependent system to one that is increasingly powered by renewable energy. These efforts will not only help to manage individual electricity costs, but also support a more sustainable energy future for Dominica, advised by Mr. Senak. Domlec advises the public that the company remains committed to improving the reliability, sustainability, and affordability of electricity through ongoing investments in renewable energy and system efficiency. The Discover Dominica Authority is promising an Africa-Caribbean extravaganza like no other for the 15th staging of Jazz and Creole. Marketing executive for the Caribbean at the DDA, Makera George, says events such as these play a key role in contributing to Dominica's economy.
Each year, Jazz and Creole draws people into the north and keeps them there for the weekend. Today, we invite you to the 15th staging of Jazz and Creole, taking place on Sunday, May 3rd at 2 p.m. at the Fort Shirley, Cabrit's National Park in Portsmouth, under the theme Afro Elegance. This event sits within the Ministry of Tourism's Festivals pillar, where events are used to drive travel, increase visitor spend, and create opportunities for businesses and communities across Dominica. Jazz and Creole continues to do exactly that. It brings visitors into Dominica, drives movement into the north, and creates real economic activity.
George also outlined some of the artists who will help set the tone for this year's experience.
The lineup reflects the same balance. Taurus Riley and the Black Soil Band, with Dean Fraser of Jamaica, the Manhattans of the United States, and Dominican artists Mikel Henderson, Lily Octave, Khadija, Firelander, Janae Jackson, Rhythm Knockers, and the Swinging Style Band. Under the theme Afro Elegance, patrons are encouraged to express themselves through style, culture, and confidence, adding another layer to the overall experience.
Meanwhile, the Commonwealth of Dominica Police Force has detailed security and traffic arrangements to ensure law and order is maintained throughout the event. Assistant Commissioner of Police Aline Maxime is urging patrons to cooperate.
A traffic management plan has been developed and will be implemented for the duration of the activity. Permit me to just highlight a few of those plans that has been set in place. Public parking will be on the Bell Hall Road and extending southwards towards the town of Portsmouth, Glanville, and Picard. No parking will be allowed on the Michael Douglas Boulevard from Longhouse Junction to Borough Square. Bay Street from the Borough Square to Lagon Bridge will be one-way traffic traveling northwards. Harbour Lane will be a one-way traffic traveling southwards. Vehicular traffic traveling southwards from Purple Turtle, Lago Main Road, will on reaching the Lago Bridge, turn left onto the road leading to Portsmouth Secondary School, that's the PSS. Take a right turn and exit on Harbour Lane or Rodney Street.
He reminded the public that only individuals with specific access cards will be allowed entry to Fort Shirley and called on all patrons to comply with the rules and regulations for a hassle-free and enjoyable event. Jazz and Creole is set for May 3rd, 2026 from 2 p.m. at Fort Shirley in the Cabrit's National Park, Portsmouth, under the theme Afro Elegance. Patrons are also encouraged to continue supporting the fringe events leading up to the main show. Also happening in local news, the Kainago Council has issued a strong statement expressing deep concern over comments by Anthony S. Charles in support of mining at Dubois for the International Airport project. The council questioned whether the rights of residents in Concord and the Kainago territory are being equally respected, emphasizing its mandate to protect the welfare, environment, and cultural heritage of the Kalinago people. Central to its concerns is the Concord River, which it describes as vital to livelihoods, tourism, and daily life. The council warned that any threat to the river must be treated with urgency and full transparency. It also raised alarm over findings in the Environmental and Social Impact Assessment (ESIA), including reported E. coli contamination and elevated levels of mercury and arsenic, which it says were not properly communicated to affected communities despite ongoing use of the river. The council further referenced a stop order issued in December 2025 on the Dominica's physical planning laws, citing risks to public health and safety and calling into question any move to continue mining operations. In addition, the council criticized what it described as a lack of consultation and dialogue with the people of Marigot, Concord, and the Kainago territory, stating that no meaningful engagement has taken place. While acknowledging the importance of national development, the council noted that alternative sources of aggregate are available, urging authorities to consider options that would avoid environmental and social harm within the Kainago territory. The council reaffirmed that the Kainago people will not remain silent on issues affecting their health, land, and heritage, and is calling for immediate transparency, accountability, respect for the law, and meaningful engagement before any further action is taken. It also signaled its willingness to engage in dialogue with Anthony S. Charles to address the matter moving forward. And finally, in local news, Dominica State College visited Convent High School on Wednesday, engaging over 40 fifth form students in an informative and interactive session. Students were introduced to the wide range of programs offered at DSC, along with guidance on career pathways and student life. The session also allowed students to ask questions and gain first-hand insight into the college experience. The outreach team included Kimberly Benjamin, Elena Bowers, and student ambassadors Shireen Carbon and Jensis Durand, who all contributed to a meaningful engagement. DSC expressed optimism that many of the students will enroll this September, continuing their academic journey at the institution. And that's all for local news this evening. Stay tuned for regional news coming up next. And now let's take a look at regional news. Caribbean Tourism Organization, CTO, has announced that St. Lucia will host its first Latin American Market Summit on May 5 to 6, 2027. The announcement was made at World Travel Market Latin America in Sao Paulo. The summit will bring together airlines, tour operators, travel agents, and media to strengthen ties with Latin America, build partnerships, and expand business opportunities for the Caribbean. A key focus will be improving air connectivity and opening new routes to major South American markets like Brazil, Argentina, and Chile. Officials say the move comes as South America recorded a 23.7% increase in Caribbean travel in 2025, reaching 2.4 million visitors, marking it the region's fastest growing source market. Ernest Hilaire says the summit will help boost arrivals, revenue, and sustainable growth, while Donna Regis Prosper notes it will turn market insights into real opportunities for Caribbean countries. The event will be held just before St. Lucia Jazz and Arts Festival. Grenada and the Republic of Cuba marked 47 years of diplomatic relations on April 14, 2026, celebrating decades of strong friendship, cooperation, and solidarity. Since establishing ties in 1979, both countries have built a partnership grounded in mutual respect and shared development goals, delivering benefits in education, healthcare, and infrastructure. Education remains a key pillar, with Cuba providing scholarships to hundreds of Grenadian students in fields such as medicine and engineering, many of whom have returned home to support national development. Cuba also played a major role in building the Maurice Bishop International Airport, now a vital hub for tourism, trade, and investment. Grenada says it looks forward to strengthening this long-standing partnership in the years ahead. And now moving over to Barbados. Barbados has joined the launch of the United Nations Conference on Trade and Development Borrowers Platform in Washington, marking a major step forward for developing countries. The initiative is designed to give developing nations, including small island states, a stronger voice in global debt negotiations. Officials highlighted that with 3.4 billion people living in countries spending more on debt servicing than on health or education, the issue goes beyond finance and speaks to fairness and justice. Barbados reaffirmed its support for urgent reform of the global financial system, calling for immediate action to better support vulnerable economies. And finally, in regional news, Philippe J. Pierre, Prime Minister and Minister for Finance of St. Lucia, will deliver the country's 2026-2027 budget policy statement on Tuesday, April 21, 2026, at 5 p.m. in the House of Assembly. Proceedings will begin earlier at 10 a.m. with the throne speech delivered by Felix Finisterre. Valued at $2.18 billion, the budget is the largest in St. Lucia's history, aimed at expanding opportunities, strengthening communities, and driving continued national development. Officials say the budget focuses on improving lives, supporting vulnerable groups, and creating growth through community initiatives and major capital projects. Prime Minister Pierre emphasized that development must directly benefit citizens and communities, ensuring no one is left behind. The budget address will be broadcast live on NTN and radio stations across the island, while debate on the appropriations bill is scheduled for Wednesday, April 22, 2026. And that's all for regional news this evening. Stay tuned for international news coming up next.
Blast Gaming presents its biggest job whatever. Blast Mystery Progressive. I'm so excited. I can't hide it. In your blast up and rising. And I like it. It going up and up and up and up and up. Blast up and up and up and up and up and up.
Play selected games to win in the Blast Mystery Progressive. Pick until you match 3 gems and win one of the 5 cash jackpots. Or you can blast up with the Mystery Progressive jackpot.
It going up and up and up and up and up. Blast up and up and up. Blast Gaming.
And now for international news. A 10-day ceasefire between Israel and Hezbollah has taken effect as the Middle East conflict enters its 48th day. The truce, announced by President Donald Trump, began early Friday, with celebrations reported in Beirut. However, tensions remain high, with Lebanon accusing Israel of violating the agreement through shelling in the south. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says troops will not withdraw, while Hezbollah warns it may respond to any attacks. The United States says talks between Israel and Lebanon could begin within weeks as part of wider regional negotiations. Meanwhile, U.S. forces remain on high alert as uncertainty continues over the ceasefire's stability. And finally, in international news, President Donald Trump has nominated Dr. Erica G. Schwartz, a former deputy U.S. Surgeon General, to lead the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. Swartz brings more than 20 years of experience in military and public health service. If confirmed, she would take over an agency that has lacked a permanent director since August. Trump also announced additional health appointments, including Sean Slovensky as CDC Chief Operating Officer and Dr. Jennifer Schrofford as Chief Medical Director. While officials say the team shows promise, concerns remain about political influence and ongoing debates over vaccine policy. Schwartz's potential leadership comes at a critical time for the CDC as it faces legal challenges and internal changes. And that's all for international news this evening. Stay tuned for the sports segment coming up next.
Dominica, get ready. The prophet of God is coming. You don't want to miss these 2 nights of encounter. Get ready for deliverance. The prophetic. Prayer. And most importantly, souls being saved. You don't want to miss it. For more information, call the number on the screen.
Welcome to the sports segment. Dominica's senior national women's football team has safely arrived in Nicaragua after a lengthy journey. The squad is set to face Nicaragua this Saturday, April 18, as part of their ongoing campaign. Team morale is high following an improved performance against Antigua earlier this week, with the players showing confidence and determination ahead of the matchup. In the secondary schools basketball championship organized by the sports division, Dominica State College, DSC, delivered a commanding performance, defeating Portsmouth Secondary School, PSSF, 114-10. DSC's offense was led by Kenya John with 24 points, Niabel Packet with 20, and Natalia Dawe adding 18 points. For PSS, Tabitha Stewart and Kenisha Charles were the top scorers with 4 points each. The emphatic victory highlights DSC's dominance in the competition as the championship continues. And also, Northeast Comprehensive School, NECS, secured a solid 54-32 victory over Orion in their Under-20 matchup on Tuesday, April 14 at Marigot. Leading the charge for NECS was Deshaun Jacob with 18 points, supported by Ethan Bethel with 9 and Tariq Prince with 8 points. For Orion, Benaya Augustine top scored with 8 points, while Kibwe John Baptist and Colin Grant added 7 points each, and Lane Roye contributed 6. The win adds to NECS's momentum as the championship continues. Also happening in sports, St. Thomas is set to come alive on May 1, 2026 as the highly anticipated carnival races return to the Clinton E. Phipps Sur Racetrack. The event, a highlight of the carnival calendar, promises a family-friendly celebration of speed and culture, featuring top jockeys, trainers, and horses from across the region. The spotlight will be on the prestigious Governor's Cup, regarded as the ultimate inter-island showdown, where the 2026 champion will be crowned. Chief Operating Officer of Southland Gaming, Shane A. Gaspard, says the races continue to grow each year, blending competitive racing with strong community spirit and vibrant local energy. Gates open at 11 a.m., with fans expected to turn out in large numbers for one of the most exciting events of the carnival season. And finally, in sports, Asia Wilson has officially re-signed with the Las Vegas Aces on a fully guaranteed 3-year, $5 million contract, the largest deal in WNBA history. The agreement, confirmed by ESPN on April 15, was negotiated by Clutch Sports Group and falls under the league's new collective bargaining agreement, which allows supermax contracts of up to $1.4 million annually. Wilson continues to build an extraordinary legacy, becoming the first 4-time MVP in WNBA history. She has also won 3 championships in 4 seasons, earned Rookie of the Year, and secured 2 Finals MVP titles, along with multiple All-Star and Defensive Player of the Year honors. Her new deal sets a historic benchmark for player earnings in the WNBA. And that's all for the sports segment this evening. Stay tuned for the weather report coming up next. And now for the weather report from the Dominica Meteorological Service. Cloudy skies will continue to linger across the island as moisture and instability associated with an upper-level trough and jet stream remain in the area. Residents can expect a few passing showers along with breezy conditions at times. Turning to marine conditions, seas are expected to remain moderate, with wave heights reaching up to 7 feet along the eastern coast and up to 5 feet along the western coast. While the high surf advisory has been discontinued, caution is still being advised for small craft operators and sea bathers. And that's all from the Dominica Met office. And as always, stay informed and stay safe. And that's the end of tonight's news broadcast for the 17th of April 2026. I'm your presenter, Rick Francis. On behalf of the entire newscast, we say thank you for viewing. This is Emo Nightly News, every moment online. Have a good weekend.